Hey guys, in today's video we're going to talk about immunizations and medical care in Panama. We've experienced more than our fair share. Stay tuned.
You're watching Outside is Calling.
Intro video.
I'm Jenny.
And I'm Jesse.
And we've been traveling full-time for nearly 2 years.
We escaped our 9-to-5 jobs, became digital nomads, and we're even in a documentary.
Check out OutsideIsCalling.com in the description below if you'd like to know more.
We've been living in Panama for 3 months and have gotten a ton of questions from people asking us what it's like.
We've created an entire series answering those questions and more. So subscribe so you don't miss any.
And for those of our longtime RV subscribers, even if you don't want to go to Panama, please stick around because next month we'll have a lot of videos about taking our big ol' honkin' RV down into Mexico. Few things in this world are more important than our health and well-being, and so this is kind of like not the most exciting video. I'm not the biggest fan of reading healthcare and this and that, but it's a very important video, so I encourage you to stay tuned and just kind of go through this information and think about how it applies to you. The reason being is once you kind of figure out what you need and to be safe and have a good time, then that part of the equation's done and you can just go have a good time and know that things are all set in place should things go south.
While you are south.
Yeah.
So about a month before we had plans and plane tickets to travel to Panama, our son Tucker was hospitalized. We spent 10 days in the ICU for complications. He got into some tiki torch fluid, aspirated, it got into his lungs. So that is a perfect example of something completely unexpected and unplanned, but something that can and will happen at some point. Healthcare is a scary thing. And so with that in mind, we really wanted to be on top of things as we came to Panama for those unforeseen things that are bound to happen.
With our son, it involved a life flight and air evac, which is a pretty big deal. And so those are the things that we really never thought would apply to us. So now we take things more seriously, and there's some things that we did and that you can do before you head to Panama.
During our first trip together to Panama, we went to this incredible beach called Playa Venao. And then years before I knew Jesse, he had visited Bocas del Toro, both places that are phenomenal and we wanted to go to again. However, now that our son is part of the equation, we really needed to choose a location to visit that was in close proximity to a pediatrician and medical care. Now, unfortunately, Playa Venao and Bocas del Toro, they're pretty far removed from immediate medical care.
Yeah, so I can't say that those are not places you should go to. There might very well be some great medical care there. After doing some searching, we knew that Panama City, like the epicenter, was plenty of things there, and there was some other, healthcare facilities in the outlying areas. So we actually chose Playa Coronado, which is a very popular expat community. By choosing the Playa Coronado area, knew that if there's a lot of gringos and expats already there, there's going to be support systems in place. Many of the people in Playa Coronado are retirees, and so healthcare is a pretty big deal. And sure enough, we did some homework, some searching on Google Maps and stuff, and there's several different hospitals and clinics in the area. For anything serious, we have just over an hour drive into Panama City. So we're not too far removed from those important, facilities. So when you go onto the computer and do your searches for what immunizations are needed for Panama, the list of diseases that you could be immunized for are dengue, chikungunya, malaria, traveler's diarrhea, Zika virus, and tuberculosis. And so many of these are very, very serious diseases, but the thing is though, only certain areas in Panama do these apply to. It's not recommended to go get all these immunizations if you're just going to go to, Panama City or to the beaches where we went to. In fact, we were considering getting some of these, and we talked to some sources we had. We ended up renting a house, and so we had the locals that were, that owned the house, and then the manager, property manager, and we asked them, hey, what do most people, there get for immunizations?
We also spoke with Tucker's pediatrician to see if he had anything that he recommended us to get for Tucker. And in the area we are, specifically Coronado, San Carlos, Panama City, there were no recommended immunizations at this time. So we opted to not get any immunizations. We didn't want to expose Tucker to anything unnecessary. But if any of those were recommended, we definitely would have gotten them before we came.
So I have a quote from the U.S. Travel Warning website. This is a great website. It'll be actually in the description down below. So this is directly from the U.S. Travel Advisory website.
Panama City is known to have some good hospitals and clinics, but medical facilities outside of the capital are limited. Hospitals in Panama are either private hospitals or government-run public hospitals. Private hospitals typically require payment of the anticipated costs of hospitalization prior to providing services and require payment of any additional costs upon release from the hospital.
And then also the U.S. Embassy does not pay medical bills. Be aware that U.S. Medicare and Medicaid do not apply overseas. However, Jeannie's dad, we found some workarounds, which we'll share with you as well. So we'll share with you our experiences in the 3 months we've been here in Panama.
So while my parents were visiting us, my dad went out surfing and he had a great time until the fin hit his toe and he thought he broke it. So it was all swollen, he couldn't move it, and we finally convinced him to go to the doctor. And now, mind you, my dad does not speak a word of Spanish except for maybe cerveza. But he went in by himself without Jesse. He was able to see the doctor and get some antibiotics and some pain relief, all for under $60.
Yeah, I think the visit itself was $15, and most of that cost for his medical care was actually all the painkillers and antibiotics. So the medical care has been pretty affordable so far.
Mm-hmm. My dad does have Medicare. He's over the age to have it, so he does have that stateside, and he called them while he was in Panama after his doctor's appointment. He said, hey, I had to go into the doctor, and they offered to, if he sent in proof of his visit to the doctor, they offered to reimburse him the costs. So while his insurance, he couldn't use it at the time, he had to pay out of pocket, they did offer to compensate him.
Weeks later, my mom came to visit us. We had a great time up until we all took turns getting sick, and so she got the worst of it. She had a bad cough, a lot of congestion, and wanted to go see the clinic. We went to the clinic again, and she actually ended up getting a full-on culture and having some tests ran. And surprisingly, this small clinic, they had everything in-house. They took her blood samples and were able to test different bacteria and stuff to see what was going on, if she had a bacteriological or a viral infection. And long story short, I think hers was about $40 for the visit with the doctor, and most of that was for the test. Again, $15 doctor fee, and then the rest was for tests. And then about $30 to $40 worth of medications for antibiotics and other medications that were applicable to what the doctor prescribed her. So for less than $100, she went there out of pocket and was taken care of.
Also, very unfortunately, we had ample experience with a pediatrician in San Carlos for Tucker. Now, he started with a lump on his foot. It looked like a bug bite, but it wasn't going away. It was getting a little bit bigger and getting more red. So I went on the computer, I found the clinic. They use WhatsApp. So I sent them a WhatsApp message. I got in that day, just a few hours after I messaged them. It's one-on-one. There's one doctor, one nurse. They only accept in, one patient at a time. So it's incredible. It was one-on-one. Unfortunately, they do not speak any English. So we were using the Google Translate app, like my life depended on it. But Tucker had an infected bug bite. And so she drained it. We got some antibiotics and some pain relief, and we were out of there for $30. That's like an hour with the doctor, that's the medication, that's everything, $30.
And the quality of care was as good as we would get in the States, probably actually better, right? Because we had a doctor, she wasn't rushing.
We went 3 separate times. One was for a lump on his foot, one was for a lump on his head, and then the third time he had pretty bad congestion and a cough. We had to go get antibiotics, but each time we were out of there for about $30 or less. The doctor was phenomenal. She took her time. She didn't mind that we spoke hardly any Spanish, and she spoke no English. Quality of care was incredible. I felt it was on par with what we have stateside. So we had great experiences with the medical facilities while we've been in Panama.
Because of how great and affordable the medical care is in Panama, we opted not to buy any special health care coverages. What we do have though is a travel insurance plan. It's kind of from when we were RVing. It's through Good Sam, which is mostly for RVing type stuff. It's called their Travel Assist. And this is good for if something happens where we have to be flown somewhere to get higher level care, then this steps in and covers those charges. But short of that, we've been very, comfortable just paying as we go for medical care here in Panama. And yeah, the service has been very good service and very good, quality care.
So looking back, I don't think we would do anything differently. We wouldn't purchase travel insurance where we've been happy with the cost and the care that we've gotten. But for those of you who have traveled internationally and have dealt with medical care in those facilities, we want to know what your experiences were. Did you have any bad experiences? Hopefully not, but if you did or had great experiences, we want to hear it. Leave that in the comments below. If you are planning a trip to Panama and it will be your first time, we would love to answer any questions if we can. So leave a message in the comments below.
Be sure to check out our playlist with tons more information about traveling through Panama and Central America. Hey guys, I've created a website page just for all this information covered in this series. The link is in the description below.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.